We've all heard people say, I just don't like people. I'm a hermit. I don't want to go out. I don't want to engage with people. I myself have done this in the past. But something new has dawned on me. It's not that people don't like people. There's something else going on that's much deeper. I was listening to a podcast this week with a guy called Kenneth Cook, who was being interviewed about his new book called Framers. Kenneth Cook is a senior editor at The Economist and has an incredible TED Talk about data that's gone viral. And his whole book, Framers, is about the human advantage in times of technological turmoil, which is something I'm so excited about, I'm writing about, I'm always sharing about, because I honestly think it's really this time for us as human beings to shine in a time of automation where machines can only do X and Y, where we are now being helped by them, as well as given an opportunity to think more creatively and more adaptably. But in his book Framers, he's talking about this concept that we have the ability to frame anything we're looking at. In other words, life is not happening to us, but happening through us. We project onto the world what we believe the world is actually trying to say to us. So one of the examples he used, which I absolutely loved, was he says, how come America and China don't reframe their relationship and say, look, why don't we combine forces? Why don't we join all our intelligence to try and uplift humanity as a whole? Rather than fight each other, spy on each other. Of course, we'll have differences because everybody's got differences. Two people in a relationship have differences. Now we're talking about the two biggest countries in the world. There's always differences, but let us focus on the things that we can do together, the partnerships we can create together, and how we can uplift humanity together. That small reframe has such massive repercussions. And I just thought to myself, what a silly thing that all these leaders are in such a space of turmoil, trauma, anxiousness, fighting. Such a horrible place to be, but somehow we find ourselves with wars going on still in this day and age. It's just really ridiculous. And somebody the other day was saying to me, it's just, it's bad leadership. And I actually think it comes from the baby boomers' way of understanding what success looks like. Because if we look at the really harsh business people, the people that screw people over, it's usually from that age group. And it's nothing personal. It's just that's the way they were brought up. They were brought up in wars. And you have to kill somebody else for you to win. There was no collaboration. You came from a world of scarcity. So these wars are being driven and the world's still being ruled by these older men. And they've got horrific ideas about what success looks like. And then I was speaking to somebody else the other day that was saying to me, I'm very happy to be myself. I don't want to actually see anybody. I don't want to engage with humans. And actually what's going on there is the framing of what other humans are about is broken. Let me explain. And I find this in my own life. So the thing is we have this ability to allow other people to be the mirror of what we think about ourselves projected onto them, projected onto us. Quite a convoluted statement. Let me say that again. We have this negative belief. We have negative talk within ourselves. And so what we do is we think in our heads that other people are thinking that rubbish about us. So we project that onto them. We think that's what they're thinking about us. And so we become hermits. We don't want to hang around anybody. We don't want to engage with anybody. And we don't like people. Actually, we don't like ourselves. And so we create this idea that they're projecting the worst things we think about ourselves onto us. And so we become hermits. This is exactly what China and America are doing. They are creating so much turmoil in the world and so much fighting because they've got this negative self-belief about themselves, thinking that these people are going to screw us over, so let's protect ourselves. And this is going on back and forth. And you know this with any relationship, just with two people who have this ideology between each other are having this battle back and forth. It really is a time for us to reframe how we see the world, how we see ourselves, how we project it onto the world and what we expect. The future is full of turmoil. The future is so uncertain. And for us to go into the future with this idea of unframing the old ideas that we have, if we're not willing to reframe them, we're in a lot of trouble. The world is in a lot of trouble. We ourselves can be in the future miserable because we haven't taken the time to reframe. So if you get a chance to listen to Kenneth Kukier anywhere on YouTube, or an interview about his book called Framers, Human Advantage in an Age of Technology and Turmoil, I cannot recommend it enough. He's just incredible in his way of thinking. So check him out. And remember, you need to have a better self-talk, dialogue, monologue, so that you can enjoy with people, time with people, and you can see people as partners, not adversaries. And I'm even talking to myself here. So all of us actually suffer from this thing. Anyway, ciao from Cape Town.